It has been a long and very difficult spring. Key workers in healthcare and other vital services, they have worked tirelessly and selflessly to keep us safe. And we've had to make changes in the way we live our lives to help contain the spread of the virus. But we're slowly starting to emerge from a life beyond lockdown, though not yet a life beyond the coronavirus. Our thoughts are now, I think, turning to summer and maybe even further, and to the places that we love to travel. That be by the sea, the mountains, our cities, and our countryside. And those places, they are keen to welcome back travelers. Tourism is a vital part of Europe's economy. Nearly 1/10 of GDP across Europe, and more than 10% in 11 member states. Millions of jobs depend on tourism, and that often in areas where there aren't many other industries. And tourism gives those regions both security and hope for all that work there. But we have to reintroduce it safely. So this is the first fundamental principles of the packages that we present today. Safety, that underlies our guidance. And that means taking gradual, careful steps to help travel restart in line with what science tells us. The second principle of our guidance is no discrimination. Different countries, of course, are in different situations, but we need to treat Europeans equally. And we all share that responsibility, governments and businesses, workers and travelers. And the most important thing is that we are open about what we know and what we don't know. This is the only way for travelers and businesses to take informed decisions. And obviously, no one should travel if feeling sick or having symptoms. We need to work together to keep travel safe as Europe starts to cross borders again. And that is why the European Commission has adopted this package of guidance and recommendations today to coordinate a safe return to travel and tourism this summer. The package is built on the joint European roadmap towards lifting containment, and it's about coordinating, not replacing the work that is being done by businesses, by national and local governments all over Europe. We've seen all kinds of innovative ideas to help tourism recover. That could be phone numbers, websites like in Greece, Germany or Austria that inform tourist businesses about how to operate safely, or the project in Lithuania and Slovakia that allows customers to buy vouchers to support their favorite pubs and restaurants. And there are bound to be more good ideas to come. So our guidance doesn't try to prescribe exactly what governments and businesses should do. Instead, it's about coordinating the steps that are taken throughout Europe so that travelers and workers can feel confident and safe. There are 4 vital areas that our guidance addresses. This is to enable tourism in a safe way this summer. Obviously, travel, border, health, and vouchers. First, we need carefully reopen borders within Europe. So we have adopted guidance for member states on a gradual, coordinated lifting of restrictions on the free movement in Europe. Second, people need, of course, to be able to travel between European countries. So we are giving guidance on how to gradually reopen transport links without risking the health of travelers or transport workers. Third, travelers and workers, they need to know that the places that tourists visit, that they are safe. Hotels, restaurants, beaches, other tourist sites, they need to be run in a way that minimizes the risk of passing on the coronavirus. So, with the help of the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, we've put together health and safety guidance with concrete examples that explains how to operate these services in a safe way. And finally, we do not get very far if businesses like hotels and airlines, they have gone out of business. And yet, a lot of these businesses, they are feeling an intense strain. They're caught between the need to refund cancelled trips and the reality that new big bookings are still very thin on ground. The starting point here is that European consumers have a right to a cash refund if that is what they want. Full stop. Many companies have come under pressure, and this liquidity crunch would be less severe if customers accepted vouchers instead of cash refunds. So today we adopt the recommendation on how to make these vouchers more attractive for consumers to accept. At the same time, many more companies are in a situation where liquidity is very tight. On 19th of March, we adopted the temporary framework for state aid, which allows member states to provide liquidity support very quickly, very simply. And many governments now all over Europe have stepped in to help companies, also in the tourism industry, to help them mitigate the crisis with a lot of liquidity. Today's guidance can give a chance of a better season for the many Europeans whose livelihood depends on tourism, and, of course, for those who would like to travel this summer. But that will only work if each and every one of us do our part. In the last few weeks, we have all gotten used to the idea that the health of our whole community depends on our responsible choices, but also that there are different and justified recommendations in member states that we should respect. For instance, on whether and where to use face masks, or how many meters is considered a safe distance between travelers and guests in restaurants. And when we begin to travel again, we need to keep that in mind, that there are differences and they are justified. To keep that in mind, we need information, and that will be my last point. And in order to have information, the Commission is coordinating work with member states to make sure that, for instance, voluntary contract tracing apps work well and respect our privacy, and indeed that they will work across Europe. The Commission has also decided to set up a website with an interactive map so that Europeans have the confidence to travel, knowing what is happening in the countries that they are visiting. Of course, this is not going to be a normal summer, not for any of us. But when we all work together and we all do our part in the ways the Commission is setting out today, then we don't have to face a summer struck at home or a completely lost summer for the European tourist industry. Thank you. Thierry?